Hey everybody, welcome to my workshop here. My name's Colwin and we're at Miller's Farm Shop. So we're today going to tackle this big Alder Burl, whatever you want to call it. I've trimmed some of this off already just to make sure it fits the lathe. The lathe has a swing of 16 inches, so it's just clearing. So it's basically the capacity of the machine. And we're going to do, as you requested last week, a live edge, so the gnarly edge. So that's the top of the bowl. That's going to be the bottom. In taking some of this off, been able to uncover some of the wonderful grain that we've got here, and it's burred and spalted as well. So we've got lots of things going on. The grain is really swirly as well. It's lovely inside. So I'm really excited to do this. Most of the things we do in terms of turning is like opening a Christmas present and taking the wrapping paper off. This especially is like that, and I know it's going to be really nice. When I demonstrate all sorts of things all over the place, I like to every now and again just demonstrate something that makes me happy, and this sort of thing is one of those projects. So yeah, this is what we're going to tackle today. Usual thing, Tom, the farmer's here. He's going to answer ask me all your questions. So use that chat function if you have any questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. And we've got one guest in today. He's doing some filming for us as well, or filming for herself. And we got Steph's popped in just for 10 minutes just to say hello. And she's promised, haven't you? Yeah. That you're going to be back, and we'll do a little bit more training and things like that.
Yeah, maybe these guys can come up with a project for me.
There we are. That's a good idea. So keep those projects coming in. Let's up the ante a little bit. We've done a bowl already, and we've done some spindle turning. So maybe let's do something a bit different, a little bit more difficult. Well, we could do. Yeah. So there we are. Okay, so let's get started pretty much straight away. The preparation that I've done, first of all, knowing that we're going to take quite a lot of this surface away, I've put a big faceplate on this edge first to then give myself a little flat on the front to put another faceplate. I know that that's put some screws in here. They went in around about 3/4 of an inch, and I put lots of them in. I will be able to turn those away because I'll create a sacrificial foot, which will make them disappear anyway, I would have thought. And by the time we faced it off, I would have thought most of them would have gone. And now we're on a fairly small faceplate this size with some really long and thick gauge screws as well. So I've really gone overboard with the screws. 6 screws in there, plus we've got the tailstock to help. I've taken the loose bark off where it was loose. Most of it sort of welded on, and there's lots of bugs and things like that underneath the bark areas as well. So we're going to get showered as we do this. The plan is we've sort of started saying what we want to be doing over the next few months. But I think this project is probably a little bit too big for us to do within an hour or even an hour and a half. So what I think we'll do is we'll do part of it today, and then in the next live stream, we'll do the second half. Okay, then we're not rushing. We're really making it something special. We're going to sand this as well. So I'm not just going to rough turn it. We're going to finish this piece, even though there's a bit of moisture in, because it's natural edge. I don't mind if it goes off round a little bit, you know. So if there's a bit of movement, I'm happy with that. That's fine. Yes, Tom, we got some questions.
Yeah, on that note, with how dry it is, Frederick wants to know how dry is that large piece that you've got, and how did you dry it?
Really crude in terms of the drying technique, Frederick. It was left outside undercover for about 6 months, and that's the only drying. When it was brought to me, it was soaking wet. So it's part seasoned, I would say, and I would probably say it's probably around about 50% of its drying. So it's not soaking wet, but it's not bone dry. And to demonstrate that, you can see, I don't know whether any of the cameras will pick this up, Tom. I put this on the lathe this morning. I cut it yesterday, put it on this morning. There's already a little split opened up there. I'm not sure whether you can see in the camera, just a little split on the end grain. So, you know, there is moisture, and the same on this side. It's done the same. So it's starting to open up. That won't be an issue once we've taken the center out. That'll be absolutely fine. But, you know, I wouldn't want to leave that too long. So there is more. It doesn't feel wet, but there obviously is because of that split. So yeah. Any more questions before we start going, Tom? Are we good? We're good.
Sorry.
Okay, right. Let's get going. Now I'm going to, same as I did last week, we're going to go, or a couple of weeks ago, we're going to go with a visor. This is more than a a set of safety specs will protect me from if the worst case scenario happens and something comes off. And you don't have to worry so much all the time about the actual lump coming off, but there's big bits of bark here that could fly, you know, and you got to think about other things apart from just your eyes, your nose, your teeth, your chin, and all those sorts of things. That a sizable bit of bark, if that came off and hit you in the mouth, could be a problem. So I do apologize already. We're going to have a little bit of noise and clatter when I touch this, so it's just a thing. We're also going to mention another project that we're going to look at down the line as well, and I'll get that. I've got it to my left. We're going to look at that later on. Please remind me, Tom, because I'm going to forget, aren't I, when we get to the end. So let's concentrate on doing the outside of the bowl first. I'll then put it in a bag. I won't bother about sanding it. We'll just put it in a bag ready for the next stream. Then we can do the inside and then look to maybe take the foot off as well. Because whatever we do on the bottom here is sacrificial. I will not have a raised foot on the bottom of this one. The shape won't allow us to do that. It won't look right. So we're going to create a big foot to be gripped by the big G-jaws. So big grippers. Okay, so they've got good serrated inside. Have a look at those on number 2, Tom, please. So there we are. You can see that they've got serrations on the inside. This is on the 114, the SK114, and they've got those big serrations. So it's good, sizable grip, internal grip on that one. So that's going to be the jaw we use in a second. Let's start doing some actual turning. So let's sort out my mic. So, okay, I'm going to also bring over the controller. So I want to have that this side, so my side of the action. So I know where, if I need to, I can get to that off button. I've already preset the speed. I've checked it and I've got it locked in position. So we're going to start that one straight away. That's only running at 265 revs. We've got a few different camera angles today. What I wanted to do, as well as the long angles, we put some closer ones in. Now, the angle that you're seeing at the moment is really as we get to the finished sort of surface, because this is a really pretty bit of timber. The burls in this are swirling. They're almost like a quilting. It's a really, really nice bit of timber. So I wanted to show you that up close in a minute. But this is like we done the finials a couple of weeks ago on the last stream. This is a bit of a battle to start with because of the speed, really. We haven't got a huge amount of speed there. Watch your finger at the bottom of this tool rest as well. You start putting your finger around there, it can grab you in between the bottom of the tool rest. So, you know, don't be putting your fingers around there in the danger zone. So let's just take off a couple of cuts. Then I'm going to stop there. We're going to just show you where we are. So solid timber in the middle, uneven to the outer edge. Once we're even all the way along that surface, then I might be able to turn the speed up a little bit, and we'll start taking that corner away, just nipping the corner away. There we are. I think we're pretty even. There we are. Let's just stop and have a quick look, see where we are. This will take, if I leave that now, it's going to take forever. So there we are. Now look at this spalting that's running through it. I don't know whether you can see yet, but the burrs that we've got coming here are awesome as well. They're really, really pretty. One thing we have to be aware of, look, you've got this big void. This is this bark inclusion. Look how far it runs. So we've got to be careful. We're going to nip this edge away a little bit at a time rather than take a big cut and potentially lose big chunks at a time. So I'm going to just be a bit cautious of that. Come on the corner. As you start to lose weight, then obviously your speed can creep a little bit. Benefit of having a variable speed or electronic variable speed machine, of course. Just starting to get a little bit of flying debris now, so being aware. Any questions, Tom, just shout them out, mate. I'll stop them when needed. So we're going to adjust the tool rest around in a minute as well. I'll just finish this cut, Tom, and we'll have a stop and a look. And there's no, at the moment, I can't see, there's no mud or stones or anything like that in there. So we're doing all right so far. Yes, Tom?
Elevator 2000 Snow, was the bike shaped and chainsawed before it was mounted on the lathe, or did you trim it after you mounted it?
No, I trimmed it before it came onto the lathe, Ed. This was... I've got both halves of this, so look, you can see the tree was growing up here, and this was a big burl that just wrapped itself around the tree, and I've got both halves, so it's chainsawed through there. I've got the other half that's over beneath the other lathe there, and all I've done literally was just cut around. So I had a wooden disc, a plywood disc, 16 inches, put that on the top of the burr, and then I was able to cut around with my bandsaw just to cut off those areas that were going to catch. That's all I've done really. Not a huge amount. You can see that by what's happening at the moment. Another bar conclusion here, but I think we'll be good. I think it's going to be safe enough. Just don't stand in the line of fire. That's probably the best bit of advice there. You can see that I'm all the way over here. Tom is the other way. He's over the other side. The only thing that could get damaged is a big window and a TV. 2 points of contact with the bowl blank itself. We've got the faceplate, of course, then the tailstock. There will be a small moment where we have to take the tailstock away. That'll only be right at the very end. But whilst we're doing all this heavy work, tailstock, extra support. Nice lot of support from that tool rest as well. So I'm going to keep moving that tool rest around as we start shaping. You can see and hear, and I can certainly feel it. As I get right on the extreme of that cut, I'm starting to get a lot more pressure because it's uneven as well, of course. And Alder, it's not a hardwood. It's a little bit of softness to it, but even so, when you've got uneven surfaces coming around, it's going to give you a little bit of a fight. Taking my time and not pushing particularly hard, letting the timber come to me. There we go. Yes, Tom, let's have another look.
What bowl gouge are you using? What size gouge are you using?
This is the Crown Cryer M42. In UK, that would be classed as a 1/2 inch. In the US, 5/8. A little bit chunky.
Just got a comment on the sound quality, but I think it could
be
tinny. I'm not sure.
There's them in here, I should imagine. Once I take this off, it'll be lovely again. Look at this. Isn't this ace? Bit of spouting there on what is relatively plain timber, and then you got the lovely swirls and curls from the burr itself. Nice. A little bit more. I wonder, could I go up a little bit faster? The lathe will tell me fairly quickly. Oh, yeah,
3, so another 100 revs that was. That'll make a difference, look. I think we could probably start looking at the 2S coming around a bit further. Just take this about a minute. Stop the lathe, we'll have a check. Get the 2S around. And every single time before the lathe gets turned on again, just do a turn by hand just to make sure nothing's going to catch that tool rest before you hit that green button. Carry on. I'm also a little bit cautious when I'm doing these and not to put my thumb too high up on the gouge. Normally I pretty much work there with my thumb right up. The reason being that, you know, if something did come off that blank, a bit of bark or something, it could clatter my thumb. So I'm back a little bit further than I would normally be. I'm not worried about a finishing cut yet. This is these are fairly brutal cuts. They don't leave a particularly nice finish until we've got rid of a lot of the excess timber. There's no point in getting a finishing cut. Let's just head out the material, get the job done first, then we'll go and tidy up. There we go. Right, I think I want to start getting down to my sacrificial foot. So we'll start looking at that one. I'll get a measurement. Oh, these burrs are awesome. These are really cool. We're going to, don't worry, we will strike solid material. This bark inclusion, I'm hoping, will disappear in a moment. The further up we go, just like it has here, sort of thing. But look at this. There's these little swirls and things that are going on. And I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea what's inside this yet. I've got a rough idea of what a burr looks like, but what it's going to do, no one knows really until we get that far. So let's get a set of calipers. I'll open them up to my, yes, Tom, I'll open them up to my.
Couple of questions.
Yours?
Ted wants to know, do you consider coring this piece?
I had it in my mind at one moment. I thought it would be nice to core it, but no, because I haven't got a corer on site, so I didn't for that reason only.
And Editor 2000 wants to know, he's probably going to be raising up his 406 in the future. He gets some lower back pain and long working hours on the lathe. He said he noticed none of your 406 are raised in the workshop. Have you got any thoughts on raising?
No, they are. I've got one over there that's got 50 mil, so 2 inches of height on it. Both for me, if I'm bowl turning, and if I get any students that are a little bit taller. So yeah, there is one raised one. I would also say, Ed, just put a little anti-fatigue mat down if you don't already have one, because that will transfer. If you don't have one on a concrete floor, that'll transfer cold and then eventually back pain, neck pain, all those sorts of things up through your body as well. So anti-fatigue mat. So there are a couple of good ideas for anti-fatigue mats. You can get cheapies all over the place on the internet and all that sort of thing. But I was told a long time ago, and they really work, you can get rubber matting or material matting in farm supply shops, Mole Avens, Mole Valleys in the UK, that sort of thing. The horse mats, so what horse where you put in stables for horses for them to sleep on, and they're very thick, almost like a foamy rubber, and they can be cut up into lots of anti-fatigue mats. Work really, really well. So yeah, and on the outset they look fairly expensive, but when you cut them up and divide them into various parts of the workshop, it's a good thing to, good way of working. Right, there's my foot. So start him off a little bit. Then we're going to cut a nice deep foot on this one. Remember, this foot is sacrificial, so this is going to help take away the screw holes that I used earlier. That'll be fine. Now we can carry on shaping. Probably losing a little bit of weight from the bowl blank now, which is good. Try for another 2S move in a moment. Okay, just getting a little bit too far away from that 2S now, so I'm just going to stop the lathe, adjust everything, get them in nice and close again. The lathe is off, by the way, everybody. It's not still on. It's just taking a while to run down. Going into solid timber now. Okay, these joins are all becoming solid, so it's a little bit safer. There's still this bar conclusion here, but we've got still a lot of timber to take away, so I'm fairly confident that will be fine. There we go, another one. I'll just finish this one, Tom. Lovely. Stop and have a quick check, and we'll do another question.
Chris just wants to check in to see if it will be a live edge when it's finished.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is all going to be lovely swirls and burls. It's going to be awesome. So definitely a live edge with this lovely spalting at the same time. And like I said, Chris, we're going to eventually sand this. We're going to sand this and finish it, even though it's a little bit damp. We are going to finish this one. This is not going to be left as a rough turn bowl. So it's going to be straight into the shop, Tom. There we go. Now we're getting there. Stop and see where we are. Yeah, pretty. We're up. I think we've got rid of all the flats now, so I can start. Oh no, just a little bit one there, but we can start thinking about a shape. Yes, Dom.
Yeah, Frederick just wants to know: would it be a good idea to hollow out the centre using a bulb saver and save some of that lovely wood?
Yeah, it would be. It would be if I had one, Frederick. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very pretty bit of timber, this one, I have to say. I still got those screw holes. They will need to go before I go any further, so I'm going to carry on working on those, and then we're going to bring the shape. It's a little bit too flat and then up at the moment, so we need to sort that. I do want to take a bit more timber away as well, just to try and get out some of these little barky areas. Otherwise, when we do the inside, we run the risk of things flying off. I think I'll grab another 100 revs. Yeah. Just see if those screw holes have gone. Yes, we've got them. Brilliant. Right, now we can start concentrate on the shape. What I'm going to do in a minute, I'm just going to go sharpen the gouge in a second. Yeah, we're just starting to lose a little bit of an edge. I've got a second gouge that's already sharpened, so we're going to go to that one, and then we'll go sharpen this one. Stop the lathe, adjust tool rest. Now the shape's getting better, but with any natural edge, what I like to do is stop the machine just to double check the shape, because what it looks like when the lathe's running and what it looks like when it's stopped are two different things on a natural edge, because you've got lots of other things going on. Look at that. That's pretty good. So where's that flat? There's that flat. So probably another 3/8 of an inch to come off. So we'll carry on with that initial cut, the one that I've just stopped. One little edge that was, just one little edge coming around. Where is it? Is it that one? Yeah, it's that one there. It's quite a nice little feature coming around. Now, let's start having a look. We've got this going on here. There's another one there that I could potentially cut into in a moment. That needs attention. I'm looking for the bark inclusions. There's timber in between, which is fine. So that's nice and strong. Now I've got a bit of timber running through here. All right, so that's going to keep that on. I think that's going to be sound now. Still a little bit concerned about that bit, but there's a flat there still, so we do need to go a little bit further. So let's just swap to my sharper gouge. Next one. It's an old gouge. I've had this one for about 30 years, this one. This is an old Henry Taylor. Oh, that's different. Right, let's see if we got rid of that flap. Then we can properly concentrate on the shape. Yeah, pretty much. A little bit up there. I'm going to start shaping this bolt. I'm not going to go much different from what we've got. A little bit more open-handed. So instead of at the moment we're sort of cradling, I'm going to have him standing up a little bit more like this. I think it's just so it's basically taking a little bit more of this bulk down here at this section away. And then I think I'm going to take the tailstock away in a minute, just to do a final push cut. But if we start tidying up straight away. Tidy that base up. Not quite sure. I'm not quite decided yet what I'm going to do on the base. I don't want to be too big on the base, but it is going to have a flat base. I'm not going to have it like a rocking bowl. Good, one more stop. You know, I kind of like that. A little bit of a bark inclusion there. That concerns me a little bit. But I don't want to go too much further. I really like the shape. I think it's going to be a nice one. So what I'm going to do is take the tailstock out of the way. I'm going to check it first. So take the tailstock out of the way, and then we'll do a nice finishing cut. Then I'm going to leave it for this session. When we come back, we're going to sand. I might sand it whilst you're not watching, and we can sand the inside because there's still going to be an awful lot to do next time because we've got to take the foot off once we've hollowed, of course. But let's just get that finishing cut going. Yes, Tom.
Yeah, Ed wants to know how wet is it feeling now?
Yeah, it's definitely. How much?
Over 20?
Oh, over 20, definitely. It's probably only halfway through its drying cycle. But I mean, this is Alder. Alder's, you know, it's. I wouldn't say it's as good as drying as ash, but it's relatively quick. So we will get away with a lot more than other timbers. But even so, we're gonna. You know, it's dry enough to sand. It's not sopping wet. There's no water coming out of it as we're turning, so that's a bonus. The shape, I'm fairly happy with the shape. I just want to get a bit of a finishing cut going. It is on faceplate. The faceplate is sound. It's got big screws running through it, so I'm just going to double check that we're all good. There's no movement. Tailstock's going to come right out my way. I am going to just briefly sharpen this other gouge. 55 degrees I've got on the bevel angle on these. I'm using a CBN. You can't see because I'm off camera. I'm using a CBN wheel on a slow speed grinder at 8 inches, so 200 mil. The CBN wheel is 180 grit, and that's what I do bulk of my sharpening on. However, the sharpening systems that I have here, I have a white aluminium oxide wheel if I need to hog out material, want to do a scraper. I'll have the CBM wheel if I want to just generally sharpen. And I've got my Tormek for extra, I want to say extra sharp. What I mean, well, I'll sharpen with CBN daily. It's just boom, 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 nice and quick. My Tormek, yes, it's really, really quick. But what I found with the Tormek is before I do a demonstration, if I'm traveling, if I'm going away to do a demo,
I want the edge of those tools to last a huge amount longer. And literally, the finer you're able to get your edge of your tools, the longer they'll last. So the tool mech gives me the longest lasting life of a chisel if I'm demonstrating away without having a sharpening system. So that's why I do that. So those three tend to work for me, and there's a great combination between aluminium oxide, CBN, and then the tool mech. So we've just sharpened that one. Let's go and do a finishing cut. Yes, Tom.
George just wants to know: do you ever use CA on the inclusion?
I do, George. Yeah, thin CAs, it works wonders a lot of the time. I don't like using the accelerator because different CAs create different sort of oxidization, or in the, when they go white and that sort of thing. So I've got to be careful. What I do prefer to do is CA, then leave overnight just so it sets on its own, and that really hardens up, as you know, hardens up all those soft areas. This, even though it's spalted, it stayed fairly sound, so it's quite a nice piece of timber. There are a few little fluffy bits, but nothing that's causing real problems, so it's going to be okay. The bark inclusions are the bits that might be worth. In fact, we will do that. We'll put a little bit of CA in the places that worry me a little bit, through here, for instance. All right, Tom.
Yeah, just one more. Frederick just wants to know, if you remove the center now, wouldn't it reduce the chances of cracking?
It would do. Yeah, it would do. So normally, Frederick, I'll do all in one sitting. I'll finish the whole bowl, but that'll have you here till about 6:30 this evening. It's a little bit too long for one session. So what I'll do is I'll just put it in a bag until the next session. Then we'll just literally take off where we take over where we left off tonight. So yeah, no, absolutely. You could, if you're at home and you couldn't do the whole thing in one day, you could leave that for a couple of weeks, but you would need to seal it up. Either wrap it with cling wrap, put it in a bag, bury it in shavings, anything like that. That will stop it from drying out too much before you can get to the next session. I wouldn't leave it for months. That would cause a problem. Then you would get splitting. But no, this will be fine. If I can get a coring system before then, then I will borrow one. Sorry, then I will. Right, let's just do a bit of finishing. And I've got another 100 revs there. I'm going to put my light on, so I'm going to bleach everything out a minute, Tom. I just need to see. Right, before we get right to the top, the gap's getting a bit big here, so I'm just going to break away, bring the tool rest around, so I'm really close. Because we're now coming to intermittent cuts, what can happen, you get a little bit of bouncing, so I need to be supported for as much as I can. Finish is pretty good here. As I'm doing this, I'm mainly looking at the top of the bolt, so rather than where the tool is, I'm looking at the shape that's coming. I'm looking at the cut up top as opposed to down at the tool. Now look at the profile. Am I happy with the profile? Profile looks good there. Does it look good when we've stopped as well? And yeah, I think it does. You can now start to see, if I get that out of the way, maybe turn it down. You can now start to see a lot of shimmer. And the shimmer is coming from the swirls on the burls with the spouting that's thrown in as well, these lovely little quiltings, but the real shimmer. Now that will improve as we start getting a finish on it, as we start to improve it with sanding and things like that. That will improve and you'll see some real depth and real shimmer coming through. So there we are. Let's just do one last little bit of attention to the foot. So down here, and I'm going to just double check to make sure those screw holes are all gone, and they have. Don't want any little surprises when we go to finish. Let me just make sure this is nice and true and tidy. One really important thing is, you know, a bowl of this size, it needs to have a good point of contact here. This needs to be dead true. So I was just going to crisp this up and make sure this is nice and clean. Yes, Tom.
Paul, did you have the lathe on? I've lost my train of thought. I've started reading something else. Did you have the lathe on a low range for this, the size of this?
No, do you know, I was going to talk about that as we started. I didn't. The lathe didn't need it. We were going fast enough, and I wasn't taking that much of a heavy cut. The timber was soft. So I've actually left it where it was. There was no drain on the power at all. And that was one thing I was going to say. If I thought that it was slowing the lathe down, just to protect the lathe, we would have changed that belt over. But it didn't need it at all. It's powered through. So I was really quite pleased with that. So no, it's left where it was. That's obviously given me the option whenever I wanted to go up fast. And we're nowhere we're going to go past the 1200 that this lathe is set on for its low range, but it's just given me a nice lot of movement. So remember, this is not going to be a foot that stays there till the end. This is going to be a sacrificial foot. We'll take it off. And because of that, we just need to put a little center point in a minute, because we'll use a push plate to remove this foot. Just crisp up that corner. There we are. So we'll do that with just the tip of the skew. Just all I want is just a little mark where center is. So that will locate the tailstock center when we want to flip this around. So what have we got? Still got plenty of time. We've got about 15 minutes to go for this session. So what we'll do, we'll start the hollowing, but let's get it held in the chuck. So we'll remove this from the lathe. We'll look at those screws. All right, let's get my control box out the way. Still a fair old lump. All right, so let's give you a proper look at the underside of that. Let's get rid of that lamp. Where's the best one, Tom, do you think? Probably number whatever you think, really. All right, see the lovely swirls and burls that we've got going on. That's quite nice. I love that. But there's so much happening with this bowl blank. We're blessed with this. So there's my faceplate. I'm going to grab my driver and just remove those screws just to show you the sort of size of screws that I put in on this one. We'll go up some light as well so I can see. All right, so they're a good thick gauge. Maybe number 2, Tom? That's all right, and they're around about 50 mil long as well, so a couple of inches. Six of them. Let's do one side, get rid of our faceplate, grab our chuck. There it is. Key. added benefit of having these jaws with a real big gripper on the inside is that they really bite. Good bit of pressure against the chuck and allow those serrations on the jaws to do their job. There we are. That's pretty good. I'll bring the tailstock up. Again, we may as well use it whilst we've got it, whilst we can, we'll use it. And we'll just do a couple of minutes of hollowing. Yes, Tom?
What were the jaws you're using there?
So they're gripper jaws type G, and they're on the Axminster SK114 chuck. So they're an Axminster jaw, and they're a gripper type G. Just big grippers. Big grippers. Yeah. Get in nice and close. I'm sort of, because I want to use that tailstock still, I'm just going to get in wherever I can. I want to be just below center. Small tool rest. I don't want to be working on the very end of a long tool rest because it's too much stress on a big chunky gnarly bow like this. So that'll do. Get my control close again. Now, the one thing I do here is we've changed kit. We've got a chuck on, we've taken the faceplate off, we've changed orientation. So our lathe speed back down to 0 again. Turn the lathe on, then introduce speed. There's no problem with doing that, you see. If you just carry on from where you left off, because you've changed everything on the lathe, you could have an accident. Something could go wrong. There might be something you haven't thought about. So I always like to restart. So a little bit of this unevenness away. Added help from the tool rest, from the tailstock, sorry. And we'll just do a token gesture here. We'll do another 5 minutes. Take away some of that unevenness. We're running at 300 at the moment, so I think we can go up to 5 for 500 revs. Cool, let's step another look. Well, obviously, I don't want to go too far because I want a nice natural edge there. And Well, this is not going to be a really, really thin bowl. Okay, this is going to be a nice chunky one. I guess around about 1/2 inch to 3/4, so up to about 20 mil on the rim. And I won't decide that until we start getting there. If I think, oh, okay, we're at 3/4 of an inch and it looks like it needs to go a bit further, then we will. Then maybe something's stopping us from doing that. I might think, oh my goodness, we're going to lose part of this bowl if we carry on going. You know, if one of these bark inclusions goes deeper. So there's going to be a few factors that we're going to watch for. I am going to do what you said, George. I'm going to put some thin glue in here just to see if we can retain that. If that lump does come off, not only will it make a big bang, but I think we're going to lose a little bit of the shape of the bowl if that bit did come off. So I do want to keep an eye on that. So yes, I think we'll stop there. We're around about 5:10 past. We've almost done the hour. There's a couple of things that I want to just go over first. But let's answer any questions that there might be, Tom.
Oh no, Ed just wants to say that he's ordered his horse matting.
Wow, I ought to be sponsored by whoever made the horse matting. Well done. Okay, so there's a good start, isn't it? Awesome bit of timber, beautiful bit of timber. My next job would be to take a little bit more of this core away, get rid of some of that. And there will be a point fairly soon that we need to take the tailstock away, but we'll do that when we come back and take over in a fortnight's time. One thing I'd like to just keep you up to date as to what we're doing here, and we're on a resin table at the moment. If you follow us on Instagram, then you would have seen a little bit of a sneak preview, but we're going to do a little bit of turning. I know a lot of people talk about resin turning, so we're going to have a play live on one of the videos at turning the outside of this table. This is a lovely piece of yew, or lots of bits of yew, of course, with some black resin in between. I'm just going to put it on the lathe because it's quite heavy. What I'd like to do with this piece, this is going to be slabbed with a router, so I'm going to use my router sled here and on the front face, and that's going to give us a nice even table. But on the outside edge, I'm going to turn it round as well, because what I want to do with this one is where all the branch sections of yew are, I want to come through into them, so we've got stripes running down the outside of the tabletop. So we're going to do that probably. So obviously next time we're going to finish this one, and then I think we'll get to this one the one after. Okay, so we can see a little bit of resin. We may be able to talk about a bit of resin turning as well, pros, cons, all that sort of thing. And we can answer some questions on that. So if you get any resin questions, come through and ask. Also, I would say that next Wednesday, I'll be doing a demonstration for the wood turning store, New York, on behalf of them with Axminster Tools, and we'll be turning the resin offset pendants there. So that'll be a good one to watch. Just have a look on Instagram. That gives you all the times, the dates and everything, but it's next Wednesday. Yes, some questions.
Are you at Newark this weekend?
I'm not at Newark this weekend. I'm rather busy at the moment with courses and demonstrations and things like that, so I haven't been able to make Newark. I did think about going up just for a day, but I'm at the rugby on Sunday. I'm seeing England play Italy in the Six Nations, so I won't have a chance to go to Newark, I'm afraid. But there will be other years, I keep telling myself, so no. All right. Yep, all good. Lovely. Right, everybody, there we are. So really nice piece. I've enjoyed turning this so far, and I know as we get to the inside, I'm going to enjoy it even more. There's a few little bits of preparation I'm going to do. Like I said, maybe a little bit of super glue, but I'll then bag this up so it can't move, do anything in the interim in that fortnight. It's not wet enough to worry about. I will be able to sand this when we come back as well. And I really look forward to doing this one. Again, I'm doing things that I really enjoy doing. So no, thank you ever so much for staying with us and watching and just coming back and supporting and being part of this lovely sort of network that we've got going on and chatting. So thank you. Don't forget, if you like what you see, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications button so you can see when we do more lives. But apart from that, I think the next one is the 20th. It's 2 weeks from today anyway. It's the 20th. So see you then. Thank you ever so much, everybody. Bye-bye.